Where do you see, as MDS Global, where the greatest growth in the market is likely to come from over the next, 12, 18 months?
Well, I think two areas really, I think. I mean, obviously the consumer market will carry on, but I think that there's a lot of growth capability in the B2B market. It's been underserved to date. I'll come back to that. And of course in the IoT market. So let me take both of those separately. I mean, if we look at the B2B market, and the rise, particularly of SMEs, 96% of all businesses across the European Union are SMEs. There are 20 million SMEs versus 45,000 major enterprises. And that market's been pretty much underserved by the network operators who are focused on the really big players, the big banks, the big oil companies, rather than the SME. At the same time that the market is developing, the requirements are changing. More and more an SME nowadays wants to buy not just its communication requirements, but also have its IT requirements met by a single service provider. So mobile, fixed line, broadband, as well as maybe some IT offerings like the ability to buy a Microsoft 365 license or the ability to store some data. The average SME across Europe has 6.3 employees in it, and the average SME is served by 2.3 communication service providers, one for mobile, one for fixed, etc. So not only can they not buy all of their IT services that they want to offer in their market, want to use, and the communication services from one provider, they can't typically buy all their communications services from a single provider. So there's a big opportunity there. And as I say, it's not been well served by the network operators who are focused on the bigger players in the market. And it's clear why they've done that. The deal value is much higher. You stand a chance of signing up hundreds of connections, if not thousands of connections, whereas as I just said, with an SME, it might be 6. Having said that, an SME business is typically more profitable per connection than an enterprise. But it's about deal value, and it's about the difficulties to serve. Serving the SME market has proven to be notoriously inefficient and hard for a major service provider to do. But if service providers take a lesson out of the consumer market, where MVNOs and service providers that are doing well in that market are putting control back to the customer themselves, giving them the ability to configure their own packages, giving them the ability to decide to roll over their data, giving them the ability to set their own spend cap limits. If the operators work in the B2B markets learn some of those examples and take and use technology like CPQ, then you're putting a lot of that, getting rid of a lot of that inefficiency and putting on the onus on the SME and the users within the SME to serve themselves. So there's a big marketplace there which has been under-focused on and underserved by the traditional network operators.